Rohit, you are from Lucknow. Can you just tell us about the specialty of the Avdi food? How it is different from the Mughal food, Mughlai food?
Awadhi food, as per my knowledge, is rather a mix of vegetarian and non-vegetarian food, which is rather very tasty, I would say. And talking especially about the kebabs of Tunde, so they are a very good mix, I would say, of Mughlai as well as Afghan.
What is the difference between demand and time liability?
Simple terms means the savings account that we have in the bank, where the bank is obliged to give us a particular money whenever it is demanded by a consumer. And time liability, as per my knowledge, refers to the fixed deposits, recurring deposits, under which the bank, it will give the money, but it will charge some penalty.
Whether an inspector is more powerful or DG is more powerful?
I'm giving you three things.
Yes, sir.
Three words unmutated. And meaning of the three is same. You must have heard from your family members कि पैर उतना ही फैलाओ जितना चादर हो, गुजारा भी नहीं हो पाता है, आमदनी अठनी, खर्चा रुपया. So all these three, they are talking about which deficit?
Sit down.
Good morning.
Take your seat. Rohit, you are from Lucknow. Can you just tell us about the specialty of the Avdi food? How it is different from the Mughal food, Mughlai food?
Mughal cuisine, our main focus remains, or rather centered on the non-vegetarian cuisine. But Awadhi food, as per my knowledge, is rather a mix of vegetarian and non-vegetarian food, which is rather very tasty, I would say. And in my observation, it is a bit fried and spicy. And talking especially about the kebabs of Tunde, so they are a very good mix, I would say, of Mughlai as well as Afghan.
That much only. Okay, your father was in police.
Yes, sir.
He was an inspector.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the power of DGP vis-a-vis an inspector? Whether an inspector is more powerful or DG is more powerful? And if the Director General of Police is powerful, from where he draws his power?
So talking about the police, especially in UP, I would rather comment that a police inspector is more powerful at the grassroots level. Like when it comes to actual implementation of law and order, these are the authorities which are responsible at the immediate level. And when it comes to Director General of Police, he is the person who is the chief in charge of a particular state to maintain law and order and public order. And he is also an active participant when it comes to giving inputs from the police. Like he is a kind of a liaison officer between the police force and the state government. And overall scenario, sir, the Director General.
If he wants to take any action.
Yes, sir.
If he wants to take any action.
Yes, sir.
Related to a case.
Yes.
Whether as a DGP he can do it?
Sir, I think as per the police protocols and police acts, it is the police inspector who in the particular case is assigned as investigating officer, and he is like an instrument, I would say, in the hands of the senior police officers who is assigned this.
Okay, now just another question on police only. What is the difference in the commissionerate system of the police? Now in UP, so many commissionerate systems are coming up.
Yes, sir.
So what is the difference? How does it improves upon the maintenance of law and order?
Yes, sir.
Vis-a-vis the traditional system of policing,
Yes, sir.
means the DCP system.
So the commissionerate system is different in many ways from the dual command system that we currently have. Like in commissionerate system, more power is delegated to the police forces, talking especially about the executive magistracy aspect. It helps in taking quick decisions, robust implementation of forces in emergency situations. Like in the traditional dual command system, the police forces need to take the permission from the district magistrate. So I think in responding to emergency situations where the law and order is becoming more robust and difficult to handle, this is a step in the good direction.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, which is the latest commissionerate system which has come up in UP?
Sir, currently there are 7 districts, out of which I think Ghaziabad and Agra. These are the 2 districts which have been added to the portfolio of commissionerate in UP. So Kanpur was earlier, I think, in the 5. Earlier there were 5: Kanpur, Agra, Varanasi, Prayagraj, and Lucknow. Now these 2 also.
Just one question. What is your take on the reservation and the ceiling of reservation above for 50%?
So reservation is a kind of positive affirmation which has been given on various parameters, and recently in the AWS judgment it has been rather expanded to the economic criteria. So I think that the current focus should be on defining the objective parameters. Like the reservation was originally devised for just 10 years, but it has been continuing for various political, socio-economic reasons. Sir, I think we should define objective parameters, and based on those attainment of objective parameters, we should be like deciding whether we have to cross the ceiling and not. And talking specifically, sir, I think that there is an issue in crossing the ceiling of 50% because it will create a snowball effect where the other sections also demands reservations, and already we are witnessing in Maharashtra, like it has in Tamil Nadu, it has even breached 80%. So I think we should not compromise merit just for the sake of politics and reservation.
What is your take on center-state relation, especially when it comes to execution of various government center policies?
So as currently in the current political scenario, we are witnessing a rather stressful relation between the central and states, and which is mainly stressed, I would say, in the states which are ruled by the opposition political parties. There are various reasons. At first, as we have in centrally sponsored schemes, the states also do share a component in implementing those schemes, and rather what we are witnessing, as alleged by several state governments, talking about West Bengal, that the flagship schemes carry a photograph of Prime Minister, and this creates a rather political loss for the state parties. But yes, the state government should also remember that the states are merely created for ease of administrative convenience, and I think at prime should be the welfare of people.
How about criminalization of election system? Who is responsible, elector or parties, for criminalization in politics?
Sir, I think there is a rather complex interplay of both the players, the electors as well as the persons who are being elected, because currently we have around 43% of our MPs who are having serious criminal records. Because sir, in India, although we have representative democracy, but I think this representative democracy has some evils, because the role of money and muscle power also plays a very significant role, which hampers the creation of a level field. So I think there should be improvisation in political culture, because currently our political culture is based on very rudimentary factors like emotions, caste-based, religion. So I think an overhaul in political culture is needed, with proactive role of political parties, intra-party democracy.
How about awareness of electors?
So, yes, sir. So awareness of electors is definitely one of the biggest
Suppose you are a returning officer or resident magistrate of a particular district,
Yes,
say Lucknow.
Yes, sir.
What will you do to make awareness on electors? See how bad it is for the society.
So being a district collector of a district, sir, I would showcase, or rather create information education campaigns where the particular incidentals of the members who are contesting for elections, so as to create an informed choice by the people. And secondly, sir, as it is being also mandated by our constitution, that and also Election Commission issues guidelines where we do voter awareness campaigns. So I think, sir, awareness and education will definitely help.
Can we do something in the education system?
Yes, sir. So we can, in education system, we can include the political dynamics. We can ensure the concepts of mock parliamentary debates. We can encourage, like as our constitution provides 18 years for vote. So I think a person above 18 should be very much politically aware of the scenarios and happening.
Rohit, very soon budget is going to come.
Yes, sir.
And always we see India is facing the problem of deficit.
Yes.
What is that deficit?
So deficit occurs when our expenditures exceed our revenue that we mobilize. And this budget deficit mainly arises from several factors. Like first is the political populism that currently we are having in our country, where the political parties are promising, they are doling out farm loan waivers and free subsidies. And second is that, sir, because has been a but we are not able to achieve the required tax to GDP ratio currently.
Do you think political factor is the main reason behind the deficit?
Yes, sir. Sir, I think a political factor is the main reason, but also, sir, like we have an overhaul of the tax system, rationalization of tax system, so that more and more people file their tax returns, which can help the government.
So which budget is better in your opinion, deficit budget or surplus budget?
Sir, I think in a democracy which is centered at the welfare state's concept, the deficit budget is rather good, because government is not a profit-making entity.
Okay, so you must have heard the name of fiscal deficit.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
So fiscal deficit means that the amount of money which the government cannot mobilize on its own. Rather than, we can say that is the non-debt creating capital receipts, which it receives in the form of loans and advances.
Non-debt capital.
Non-debt creating capital receipts. Rather debt creating capital receipts.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sir. Debt creating capital receipts.
Then what about revenue deficit?
So, revenue deficit is that which neither creates a debt or not increases our liabilities.
Okay, on external front, there are two strategies, export promotion or import substitution. Which one is better for India?
Sir, I think in the current scenario, the more focus should be on import substitution. As currently our country is like heavily dependent on various countries like China in particular. And rather, sir, also export promotion is also a step in the good direction. We are already focusing on by easing our tax.
So Make in India program will come under import substitution or export promotion?
Sir, I think Make in India will come under import substitution.
Okay. Now, one of the major problems we are facing right now is unemployment.
Yes, sir.
So where is the future of India? Wage employment or self-employment?
Sir, as also we are aware of the fact that India is going to face a demographic dividend where its young population is going to peak. So I think wage employment won't be sufficient to sustain the increasing number of labor force. So in this direction, I think self-employment is a step in the good direction. We should promote.
So if left to you, you will
Yes.
prefer to go for wage employment or self-employment?
Sir, for myself or for the...
Yes, I'm asking for you.
For myself. Sir, as currently I am applying for the civil services.
Now, what is your opinion? You will be opting for wage employment or self-employment?
So talking particularly about me, I think I'll go and opt for the wage employment.
So you are opting for wage employment and talking about promoting self-employment? Are they contradictory?
Sir, I'm like in this context, I'm stressing on the fact of the increased labor force because we also have several unskilled labor professionals, and I consider myself as skilled enough for the administration
So
job.
suppose you are appointed as district magistrate of a district.
Yes.
So you will try to promote wage employment there or self-employment there?
Sir, I would, instead of taking a binary decision that either a wage employment or self-employment, I would be focusing on both the aspects.
That's a good decision.
With a more stress on self-employment.
Okay, under banking, what is basically purchase and repurchase agreement? Purchase and repurchase agreement under banking.
So that repo operations, I'm not able to get that.
Okay, what is the meaning of the word liquidity?
So liquidity, as per my knowledge, means that the amount of the cash or the ease of convertibility, I would say, liquid, the asset is liquid when we say that it is easily convertible into cash.
Okay, so in between demand deposit and gold, which one is more liquid?
So demand deposits will be more liquid.
And what about gold and time deposit?
The time deposits, like whenever we deposit our money in banks, we are depositing for a particular fixed period of time. So definitely, like demand deposits are certainly more liquid than time deposits.
And what about the liquidity order? Do you also follow liquidity order in your personal life?
So can you please repeat the question?
Do you also follow liquidity in your personal life?
Sir, in economic terms, yes, sir, I do follow liquidity because there can be some emergency situations where we have to like mobilize few cash resources. So I keep a particular amount of liquid money with me.
Okay, what is basically prime borrower and subprime borrower?
Sir, I think I will have to read about it because I am not aware of the exact difference.
Then corporate borrower and retail borrowers?
So corporate borrowers are generally those big companies which borrow from banks in huge amount, and banks usually lend them at comparatively cheaper rates. And rather retail borrowers are those borrowers or household consumers who borrow a comparatively smaller amount, and banks usually charge a higher interest rate because they carry a higher risk.
Okay, final question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between demand and time liability?
So demand liability, in my knowledge, means that in simple terms, means the savings account that we have in the bank, where the bank is obliged to give us a particular money whenever it is demanded by a consumer. And time liability, as per my knowledge, refers to the fixed deposits, recurring deposits, under which the bank, it will give the money, but it will charge some penalty. Although in usual terms, it is for a particular fixed.
So can banks deny payment against demand deposit?
What, sir?
Can banks deny payment against demand liability?
Sir, if the situation of insolvency and bankruptcy occurs with a bank, like we have witnessed in the Yes Bank, the RBI has provisions where the bank can like deny demand deposits for a particular time. But we also have insurance coverages for this.
Okay. You have mentioned here that earlier you have worked with Indian Oil Company.
Yes, sir.
Only for 4 months.
Yes, sir.
In the capacity of CSR.
CSR officer.
What is that CSR?
So CSR stands for Corporate Social Responsibility, where the companies are legally mandated under the Companies Act to spend at least
Companies Act of which year?
2% of the
Companies Act, there are so many.
2013.
2013.
13. Yes, sir.
So why it was not introduced earlier? And leave the act. Do you think a company, they should also bear social cost?
So talking about your first question, though the CSR policy was not legally mandated, but there were instances, there were moral obligations on the companies earlier also, since I would say economic reforms. And the second aspect, sir, there should be a social liability also, because we have, like talking specifically about IOCL, it has various social costs. Talking about the refineries, it creates pollution. So in this aspect, CSR can act as a bridge to curb this.
So what is the condition?
So currently the overall CSR expenditure rotates around 25,000 crore as per the last financial year. And it has been, sir, a very good helping hand for the mobilization of resources in bridging this gap and achieving sustainable development goals.
What is the rate? Rate of CSR?
So,
What percentage they will have to invest?
okay, so 2% of profit before tax of preceding 3 financial years average.
Okay. And can you give me finally 2 examples of CR activities?
Yes, sir. So one, I would like to give of a private sector of Tata. Like Tata Tea has initiated a voters awareness campaign, that is Jago Grahak Jago, under which it seeks through advertisement, newspaper publications to increase voter awareness. And second, sir, I would love to give from my company IOCL, where Elimco, that is Artificial Limbs Manufacturing Company, it has doled out 10 lakh hearing equipments and other locomotive equipments in partnership with IOCL.
Okay, where is Duliajan?
What, sir?
Duliajan.
Dhuliajan.
Duliajan.
Sir, I haven't heard of this.
Duliajan, there is a important, this thing, oil fields are there.
Okay, sir, I'll read about it.
It is related to your department. That's
Sir,
all.
I'll read about it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, with regard to G20,
Yes, sir.
what is the significance of this G20 in the world, in the whole globe?
So G20 is a group of informal group of 20 most developed economic countries, which holds of around two-thirds.
All the 20s of the countries? The 20 countries?
So 19 countries and European Union.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, yeah.
So 2/3 of the world population, around 75% of the world's trade, and 80% of the global GDP. This is all the most significant aspects of G20. And currently, as we are facing a huge international turmoil in terms of economic, political, or social terms, so I think G20 is a good step for mediation.
Okay, thank you.